Stand at the edge of the ocean. Let the water reach your feet. Watch the horizon stretch further than your eyes can follow. Something happens, something that has no clean name in any language. A pull, a recognition, a feeling that is older than the word for ocean, older than the word for home, older than any word at all. And you do not choose it. It arrives on its own, the way breathing arrives, the way your heartbeat arrives, uninvited and essential and already there before you noticed it. You have probably felt this. Most people have. And most people, when asked to explain it, reach for the same words. Peaceful, free, like something is releasing. Like something that was tightly coiled inside the chest is finally allowed to open, like coming home to a place you have never been. Here is the thing about that feeling. It is not poetry. It is not sentimentality. It is not a product of beach holidays and romantic novels and the cultural mythology we have built around the sea. It is biology, ancient biology. The kind that runs underneath culture and language and individual personality, deeper than any story you tell yourself about who you are. The pull toward the ocean is one of the oldest signals in the human nervous system, and the reason it exists goes back much further than you might imagine. Start with the brain. When a human being enters what psychologist Richard Lazarus and later researcher Roger Ulrich identified as a restorative environment, a setting that reduces directed attention fatigue, lowers stress hormones, and allows the nervous system to shift from active vigilance to passive restoration, specific and measurable things happen. Cortisol drops. The amygdala, that ancient threat detection center in the brain, quiets. Heart rate variability improves. The prefrontal cortex, which governs planning, rumination, and self-monitoring, reduces its activity. The brain enters a state that neuroscientists call soft fascination, engaged with the environment but not taxed by it, not working, resting while still aware. The ocean, it turns out, produces this state more reliably and more completely than almost any other environment ever studied. Marine biologist and author Wallace J. Nichols coined the term blue mind to describe the mildly meditative state that humans enter when near, in, on, or under water. His research, drawing on neuroscience, psychology, and behavioral studies across dozens of cultures, found that water environments consistently outperform other natural settings in producing measurable reductions in anxiety, stress, and mental fatigue. Not parks, not forests, not mountains, water. But why? The question is what makes water different, and the answer requires going back, not 50 years, not 500, much further than that. The Aquatic Ape Theory, first proposed by biologist Alistair Hardy in 1960 and later developed by Elaine Morgan in her landmark work, suggests that a period of human evolutionary history was spent in close proximity to water, wading, swimming, and foraging along coasts and riverbanks. The theory remains contested in mainstream paleoanthropology, but the anatomical evidence it points to is real and worth examining. Humans are the only great apes with a streamlined fat distribution layer beneath the skin similar to marine mammals. We are the only great apes who can voluntarily control our breathing, an essential precondition for diving. We have a diving reflex shared with marine mammals and dolphins that automatically slows the heart rate and redirects blood flow to vital organs when the face is submerged in cold water. Our babies can swim instinctively before they can walk. These are not coincidences. They are signals from the body about a past it remembers better than we do. Whether or not the full aquatic ape theory is correct, the evidence that our ancestors spent enormous amounts of time near and in water is substantial and growing. Archaeologist Curtis Marean at Arizona State University has uncovered evidence at Pinnacle Point in South Africa showing that some of the earliest behaviorally modern humans, people who were cognitively identical to you, were living along the coastline at least 164,000 years ago, surviving on shellfish, fish, and marine resources during a period of extreme climate stress when the African interior had become largely uninhabitable. The coast was not a vacation destination. It was a refuge, the place where the species survived, when everything else failed, when the grasslands dried, when the prey animals disappeared, when the water sources inland vanished. The ocean remained, It provided food, shellfish, fish, seaweed, seal, whale where accessible. It provided fresh water through rain and coastal springs. It provided protection on one flank, because predators rarely followed prey into the sea, and it provided, for a brain increasingly capable of pattern recognition and emotional response, a reliable signal. If you can smell salt air, if you can hear waves, you are near food, near safety, near the margin of survival. You are, in the deepest biological sense, okay. That signal did not disappear when humans moved inland. That signal did not vanish when agriculture was invented, when cities were built, when the ocean became something you drove to on weekends rather than something you depended on for every meal. Evolution does not work that fast. The encoding takes hundreds of thousands of years to lay down, and it takes at least as long to fade. You carry it right now in your amygdala and your cortisol system, and your vagal nerve and your diving reflex and the particular way your breathing changes when you first hear waves. Marine psychologist Michael Depledge at the University of Exeter has conducted extensive research on what he calls blue space, the measurable psychological and physiological effects of proximity to water environments. His studies, conducted across populations in England, found that people who live within a kilometer of the coast consistently report better mental health outcomes than those living further inland, even after controlling for income, age, and social factors. The effect is not small. It is significant. It is the kind of effect size that, if produced by a medication, would be considered clinically relevant. And it is not just the ocean. Rivers, lakes, even fountains and urban waterways produce measurable calming effects. But the ocean produces the strongest and most consistent response of all. Because the ocean, unlike a lake or a river, produces the full multisensory package that the ancestral nervous system associated with safety and survival. The sound, which is a form of pink noise, that acoustically soothing frequency pattern that also makes rain so calming, combined with the visual rhythm of waves, which the brain processes as a predictable, low-demand visual pattern that activates soft fascination, combined with the smell of salt air, which triggers neural pathways associated with freshness and oxygenation, combined with the feeling of water on skin, which activates pressure receptors in a way that is neurologically similar to being held. The ocean does not just calm one system, it calms every system simultaneously. There is a concept in evolutionary psychology called an environment of evolutionary adaptedness, the term coined by John Bowlby and developed by Lita Cosmids and John Tooby at the University of California, Santa Barbara, to describe the ancestral environment in which human psychological mechanisms were selected and shaped. The claim is not that humans evolved in one specific place or landscape. The claim is that certain recurring features of the ancestral environment, social groups, open landscapes with shelter, water sources, fire, became so consistent a backdrop to human survival that the brain developed specific responses to them. Positive responses to their presence, negative responses to their absence. The ocean is one of the oldest and most consistent features of that backdrop. It is not a metaphor for freedom. It is not a symbol of mystery. It is a place where your species survived, over and over, across hundreds of thousands of years of climate shifts and migrations and near-extinction events. Your brain knows this, not in the way it knows your name or your childhood home, in a deeper way, in the way it knows to breathe, in the way it knows that darkness means caution and fire means warmth, and the sound of running water means life is somewhere near. So the next time you stand at the edge of the ocean and feel that unnamed pull, that wordless recognition, that sense of something releasing in your chest, know what you are actually feeling. You are not being romantic. You are not being sentimental. You are receiving a message from a nervous system that has been shaped by millions of years of surviving on the edge of the world. A nervous system that recognizes, in the particular frequency of the waves and the smell of the salt and the light on the water, the oldest signal it knows. You are safe here. Food is near. The predators have not followed you into the sea. Whatever was chasing you out there in the world cannot reach you here. Stand at the edge of the ocean. Let the water reach your feet. Something in you that is older than language, older than memory, older than any version of yourself you have ever been, already knows exactly where it is. It is home.